Be live on X. Let me verify this. Just checking on X. We seem to be live on X. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is another Friday Daggerizing the World back in session with my friend Matthias. We both work at Dagger. We have 0 views, so I don't know who I am speaking to, but regardless. So just to do like a little bit of recap and communication about what this space is. So basically, we started doing like a series of streaming every Friday. I think the last Friday was a bit earlier. Now we are starting around 4 p.m. 4 p.m. European time, and it's around 1 p.m. UTC or 2 p.m. UTC. Sorry.
Yep.
And yeah, basically on the last episode, which I'm gonna share the link in the chat in case anyone is interested. I'm sharing on X, and now I'm sharing on here on YouTube. So basically, what we did is we picked an open source project. In this case, it's the Brew project, and we are trying to Daggerize their CI. And the main reason to Daggerize, I see that we already have some replies in X. Thanks, Mauricio. And the main reason to Daggerize that project is because we noticed that their GitHub Actions workflow is like a spaghetti, spaghetti meal of YAML and Bash and like several other things. So we are basically taking a stab and see how that experience is going to look like using Dagger. So basically, Matthias started the stream yesterday on building a base container, which is the first thing that the brew pipeline actually does. And then I basically took the wheel and I started to like write a test function in Dagger that actually uses that base container and starts to do the build. And at the very end of the stream, we were having some, not issues, but some hiccups around the caching context of the Dagger run, in a sense that every time we basically changed the code of the pipeline, we saw that the cache got invalidated. So we are gonna resume from there, but before going to the code, I don't know, Matthias, if of course you can say hi, and then if there's anything you want to add on top of that.
No. I think we should get to it. We're streaming from Linux with a internet from the south of Argentina. So if there's issues with the stream, let us know. They're very much expected.
Yeah, exactly. We are doing this for fun, basically. So at the same time, if you have any questions around what Dagger is, what can I do with Dagger, maybe you have an idea that you have thought about doing, or you are thinking of doing, please let us know in the chat. We can
even if you have a
chat about your
project that
example.
you think Dagger might be a good fit and you like showing up on camera, like let us know. We can do a stream. We can like work together on Daggerizing your project. We can do it live. We can do it with or without you, however you choose. So just let us know.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's go to the code, Mati. You
Yeah,
can switch the scene maybe.
I'm showing your screen. Yeah.
And okay, thanks. And this is basically, let me split the screen vertically because it's gonna be better, I believe. And then we can change the prompt here. Okay.
Yeah, and zoom in just a little bit on the code, like one plus.
Okay, let me wait.
There we go.
Should be.
That's it. Yeah.
There should be better. Okay.
Nice.
So as you can see here on the left, we have a base container function, which is the one that Matthias did. That basically it's already using a Docker file, which is the Docker file that you can see here. This is a very complex Docker file that we don't want to touch initially. And one of the benefits of using Dagger is that it has like a Docker native support. You can basically build Docker files without doing anything.
Yep.
And we're basically doing a Docker build, and then we are sending a variable to the Docker build, which is a version, and then we're basically setting the labels of that container. And then immediately after that, we had a to do, which is basically fixing the date. And then immediately after that, we want to run the test, right? And this test is what this pipeline of GitHub Actions here. It's basically, this is like a GitHub Actions YAML. And the test bot part that we were trying to reproduce with Matthias is basically this part, right? But you can see that their pipelines, they do it on with the Docker run, but we are trying to wrap all of this into Dagger, right? But we started doing this the past week, and as you can see here, I'm basically grabbing the base container that Matthias functions did, and then the only thing that I do down is like the with exec. So if I try to run this, which is what we did at the very end of the last session, we saw that every time that we made a change to this file, it basically invalidates the execution is going to rerun again. So we can confirm by doing a Dagger call and then test, and then I need to send the source. And I'm going to say my current directory. So this is going to hopefully work. I don't see any output. I don't know why. Let's wait a little bit. Which Dagger version do I have? Dagger version. Okay. Let's try one more time.
Are you running in your machine or a remote machine?
No, this is my local machine.
Okay.
I only changed the prompt, so it's wait.
Is the engine running?
Where am I? Oh, that's fine. I'm here. Let's see if the engine is running. Yeah, 13 minutes ago. Let me just stop the engine just in case. Let's do okay. Let's do a Dagger develop. Wait. Okay, I don't have any env variables. Dagger develop. Okay, so this is starting the engine now. We briefly went through this process on the last call, which basically this uses the Docker engine that I have on my machine to basically start the Dagger engine, and yeah, basically connects to it and just like runs your pipelines. Okay, as you can see, it basically started. Now it's basically setting up the project locally. It's doing some code generation and some things, so everything works.
Nice.
And hopefully we should be good to go in a few seconds. Let's see. Okay, finished. So now that I have everything here, I should be able to do Dagger functions. This should, okay, now it's connecting to the engine. It's listing the functions that this project has. It should say base container and test, right? And what I was trying to do before is Dagger call test, and then send, okay, seems to be working now. I don't know, my engine was maybe sleeping for some reason. Okay, as you can see now, this is basically E too big. I don't know what this is. This is funny, but this is basically building the Docker file, right? The base container function does, which is basically being called here. And now, once it finishes doing this, it's gonna start doing the brew test bot part. I'm gonna like jump ahead a little bit, and I'm gonna start doing a modification that I know is gonna be beneficial, because we actually went through this after the last stream with Matthias, which is reason why if I modify this file, if I add a comment, for example, here, and I rerun the test function, it's gonna rerun the test bot, tests basically, is because I'm gonna be invalidating the local source directory. So the directory that gets, sent to this Docker build here is gonna basically invalidate the whole thing, right? It's gonna basically invalidate the brew test bot. So everything is gonna run again if I run this like multiple times.
Yeah.
Because this step, again, this source is going to be different, and then because this source is going to be different, the with exec is going to be different as well.
This is something that happens with every single module that lives within the repository itself. So every single, what we're right now calling contextual module. So a module that is part of an application and is building that up, right? So if today I'm working on my repo and I do like a Dagger init in that repo itself, and I do a Dagger call, sending the entire contents of the directory, every single time I change the module, the entire cache gets invalidated, right? Any file that changes. Okay. because I did see a lot of discussions on, I think it was an issue or a thread on Discord, that people were basically saying, hey, like caching with modules is not working that well. Maybe the issue is like around this line specifically, because for me, like caching with modules has actually worked when I do like subsequent Dagger calls without changing anything. So maybe it's related to the fact that you're often sending the entire context of a directory when working with these kinds of modules.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why this gets invalidated is because probably the Docker file is doing a copy of the whole thing, right? So basically, when you are copying the whole thing, you are going to see that if anything changes on that context, all of this is going to get invalidated, right? So yeah, that's the main reason.
So even if I don't use a Docker file and I do a with directory, so I create a container and I add the source to that directory, if I'm adding the entire source, same effect, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same thing. I mean, the same thing happens with Dockerfile, to be honest. You have to ignore the Docker file if you want the Docker file not to invalidate your cache. But yeah. Anyhow, as you can see, this is still running because it's a very long and painful process, which we are going to hopefully improve. But what I want to do now is basically, in order to like make this not invalidate my my CI every time that I run it, my basically tests and the Docker file and so on. What I basically need to do is I'm going to tell the base container function to ignore my Dagger and Dagger.json files. So in order to do that, I can say source, which is a directory, and I can say without directory, and then I can say, okay, don't use the Dagger directory, and without directory again, and don't use the
without
Dagger.json.
Right?
Sorry, without file, you're right.
Yeah.
Without file.
Nice.
And this is going to be the new source. Well, I can actually say source equals source, and then source here.
So would it work? Would it work if we added to the Docker ignore? Does Dagger respect the Docker ignore?
No, Dagger currently does not respect the Docker ignore, so we are not basically reading from that file. So one thing that we would have to do is we would have to also pick all the things that Docker ignore has and put them here. We can actually do that just for the sake of it's like very few things.
Okay. So I remember that in the last call, we modified the Dagger.json exclude list, and we left the library ones there. But we didn't put the Dagger.json and Dagger because putting them would basically break, because when you do a Dagger call and you tell the engine to exclude those directories, there's no module to actually call to. So I think there's something that maybe we can think about and improve in Dagger, because it's a little bit confusing that you go from having like a Docker ignore that can just take care of your entire project to having to all of a sudden split and say, okay, here are the files that I don't want to ignore in the Dagger context, and then here are the files that I want to ignore in a specific container. So for a specific list of layers and caching.
That's a very, very good observation, Mati. That now we have like a splitted exclude list of files and directories, which is one on the Dagger.json here. We are excluding the same thing that the Docker ignore excludes, and then at the same time we are excluding some folders here, so we don't, this doesn't get invalidated. By the way, this is taking, I think it was actually taking that this much time. I think it was taking around 5 to 6 minutes.
Oh yeah, and it was very heavy. Like I had to, for those that weren't on the last stream, I ran it on my machine, and since I was also streaming, everything froze. The stream almost broke.
I actually see.
I now have like a server running on top that will do the Dagger call for me.
My machine is struggling a little bit, and as you can see here, it's like doing some Git core things. So it's basically, why do I have it cd? Oh, I have Kind running. That's why.
Nice.
Let me delete the Kind cluster. Client delete cluster. Okay, goodbye Kind. Okay.
Nice.
Cool. So now that we have this, okay, the thing on the right is finishing. So this should pass, right? Eventually. So let's go back to the Docker YAML and see what else this does. It doesn't do anything else, right? It's only like building this thing. And then I think we said that we want to do the matrix after that.
So we can, we like this thing that we're doing. yeah, so this thing that we're doing has to be called. So can you go to the top of the YAML so that I can refresh my memory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For these versions, right?
Yeah, so it can list. Okay, so I was actually trying to remember that same error that we got last time. Brew,
Yeah, this one,
the
right?
brew test needs to have like a clean.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We don't care that it fails for those reasons. We know that it was able to execute everything. Let's just move on with the matrix, and then we'll like show that we can make it pass. Yeah.
Cool. So this matrix is used for the version, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the version that we are sending here, I believe, 2004.
Yeah.
So the good thing about using a programming language, right? This is where the Dagger shows its strength, is that you can basically encode all this matrix complexity in a for loop, right? Basically, which is what we need to do, right? We could like add a constant here that says which is a matrix of what? How does it call it here?
Yeah.
Version, right?
Yeah, list of
So
versions.
It's basically a string array, and then we can say
you have to make a var, right? Because slices cannot be const.
Oh, you're right. It's not constant. Okay, let's do a var.
Nice.
So we can do versions, and then here, whenever we have the base. We basically need one of each for each version, which is what the test is doing.
Yeah.
So the only thing that we need to do is a for loop here. And Copilot is see. So Copilot is already doing the work for me. Nice. I'm the most productive.
We're gonna run out of jobs. We're doomed.
Yeah, return nil. So basically, as you can see, I'm basically looping through the versions, and then I'm basically sending the version here.
Yep.
So in this case, I'm gonna have one execution per version, right?
Okay.
And then if there's an error, we can just return the error, which is right here.
How does this differentiate to the GitHub workflow? One thing that I can think about, I think we discussed this briefly, is related to parallelism. So when you do like a matrix in GitHub workflows, each version, in this case, is going to get executed in parallel, like automatically, unless you do like a concurrency group or stuff like that. How does that translate to Dagger, to this specific for loop that we have here?
That's a perfect question, Mati. So right now I'm running this sequentially, right? And it's funny that you're touching this point because there's so many things to consider here. Right now, again, as I said, right now I'm running this sequentially, which means that it's gonna basically build one version after the other one. Now, you could argue that it's gonna be slower because the GitHub Actions version actually ran it in parallel. But there's something that there's a specific thing that people generally don't think about, which is a lot of these steps are the same for each version, basically, right? I basically use a different image, and then I install things on top of that. So it's important to understand the trade-offs of the local caching that you can achieve by using Dagger locally, or like any other builder locally, versus the parallelism that you have to do when you build on CI. Okay. So it's basically, again, it's going to be sequential initially, but then we need to like understand if there are some things on that sequentiality that we can improve the caching for, because in the end, maybe sequentially, it could be even as fast or faster than the parallel version, because the parallel version needs to check out the code again and install everything from scratch. So if we can basically, if we can detect some things that could be potentially cached on each of the executions, there might be like a potential scenario where this actually runs faster than the parallel version. Now, having said that, you can still run this in parallel if you want by spawning Go routines, right? In Go.
Okay.
It's still gonna run on the same. So instead of like doing this in this for loop, instead of like doing like one equation run after the other, I can basically create a wait group, and then I can just run one of these like base containers into a wait group, and that's gonna be running in parallel in my machine, right?
Okay.
So I would assume that because this is not very, it's not written in a very performant way, that this is going to be very slow initially, but because it's going to rebuild the whole time, the whole thing each time for each iteration of the loop. But what I would do for now, I think it's like I would leave like only a single version, right? Maybe we can start by leaving a single version here, and then we can try this again and see how fast this is. So let me.
That makes sense.
run this again. By the way, did I change the Docker file in any Docker ignore? I think I did, right? So
The
Docker ignore. Yeah, I
oh
have
yeah,
some things here that
yeah.
I need to roll back, right? Git restore.
Does that affect in any way those two?
No, it's not gonna affect anything. So it shouldn't affect anything. So let's see. So let's run this again.
We are like, by the time we do a Docker build, we already removed the Dagger directory and the Dagger JSON file from the source.
Yep.
So the Docker ignore will never see those either
Yeah,
way.
and now that I'm running this now, again, which is ignoring the Dagger JSON and the Dagger folder.
Yeah.
I should get like a clean test saying that everything passes because I don't have any dirty files in my local directory.
And I can see that it went past the installing step. Did it?
So this is still part of the Docker file.
Yeah, but I remember there was like an apt update and apt install at the top. File. That it didn't do it, right?
This
it was
like
cached
before the copy. Yeah, that was cached, right? Because the version gets
nice,
basically printed here. Okay, so let's once that we have this, I guess we can, in the meantime, go a little bit below. I guess I can commit this, Matty, and then you can continue on the publish. Do you want to go that?
Sounds good.
Through that. Okay, so let me commit this work. Let's do git status. Okay. Let's commit everything. And this is basically a test function. Pushing. Cool. So I guess give it a try and see if you can. This is gonna take a bit of time in your machine as well because it's gonna have to build the whole thing.
Yep. Okay. I pulled.
Let me know when you switch to your screen.
There we go. People should be seeing my screen now, or in 5 seconds, given the delay that we have. Okay, nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and on a separate terminal start send the Dagger call so that we can start at least having some operations already done by the time that we get to the
publishing flow.
Yeah. So it was test, and then it was source and the directory, if I remember correctly. Okay, and in order
we can even. I mean, we can even maybe write the publish flow with a Slim container, so it's fast, and we can iterate on that and then connect it to the other parts of the flow.
Yep.
Because otherwise it's going to take a lot to build the whole thing.
Wait. What do you mean? I think I lost you there.
So basically, I'm suggesting that instead of grabbing this container of the test function. By the way, maybe the test function should return. I'm thinking it should return a contain. No, it should return an error, basically, right?
Yeah, I think it's okay to return this.
Yeah, you're right.
We just want to know if it fails or not.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking
I was
is
just saying that we can start prototyping the deploy function, but instead of grabbing the base container that takes a lot to build, we can just maybe grab a very simple container just for the sake of getting the code right, and then we can connect it to the rest of the app.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. So let's do I don't know. I'm going to comment this out, leave it there. And then here we'll do dag.container .from, and we know it's Ubuntu and the version, right? So we'll do that.
Yeah.
That should be faster. And then this gives me a container, right? Let's just do with directory source so that we can at least mount that. Or I won't. I'll just comment this out. There we go. Nice. Okay, so let me open up the docker.yaml. We have a few publishing steps that we need to take into account. So the first one is publishing Docker images to GitHub packages, and the image itself is called Ubuntu, the Ubuntu version, and then the homebrew version. Now, we don't know why exactly, the reason behind publishing the same underlying image under the name Ubuntu and the name brew, like you can see here, but we're not here to ask why. We'll just like migrate as we have it right here. So we can see that what we do here is we do first a Docker login, and then we tag the image with a specific a specific registry, repository, and version. So it's ghcr.io, homebrew Ubuntu, the matrix version, and then the homebrew version. And then we just push it. And we do that for 2 separate tags. One of them is the brew version itself, and the other one is latest for that specific Ubuntu version, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let me go back to the main.go. So we have a container. The way that you do publishing in Dagger is it's very similar to how you do it in Docker. It's just that you remove the step of actually tagging an image, because there's no concept of like specific image as something that you manipulate and move around. Instead, we have the container, and we can do container publish, and then specify here where we want to publish, basically. So if you see that we have the address and then some options. So here I can put ghcr.io. We were going to use our own registry, right? We're going to call it brew. Can we do
I guess you can try with the .sh, and maybe we can publish there, and then replace the
what? Sorry,
the repository. Or maybe we can try publishing this this test flow with to the ttl.sh registry.
I'm not aware of that registry. What is that?
It's a free registry that you can push, and it's gonna remove the images in some time.
Okay, nice. Yeah, we can do that. Okay,
so you can do ttl.sh / whatever you want, and then that's it.
Oh, okay. So let's do ttl.sh, vanilla, brew, Ubuntu, and then the version. Right, I'm gonna do version. And then publish receives a context, and then something that we don't care about. So I'll get into the credential stuff in the next iteration. So I'm going to, I'm actually going to do this right here. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, right? Publish.
Okay.
And publish returns an error, a string and an error. So it returns the address and the error. And we're going to say if the error is different than nil, we'll return that error, right? And if not, we are just going to print out published at, and then let's say, actually, let's do that. And then let's do address. Okay, nice. So with this, we should be publishing like a base Ubuntu image for that specific version. And yeah, okay, let's go ahead. This is still running. Yeah, this is still running.
Yeah, it takes a while. I guess you can run another function.
Yeah, I'll do it right here. So let's say Dagger call publish, and then the source directory. So I want to say Dagger call publish source, and we're going to specify this. There we go. I can hear the laptop on the
strokes. Yeah, I was checking something because for some reason it seems like my pipeline didn't like the without directory for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay. Did it fail, or what did it say?
So it's still seeing that. So it's complaining that I have uncommitted files, but I guess that's because Git is basically seeing that we are basically sending the Git context to the build.
Yeah.
So there's something probably in the brew pipeline that does like a Git status, and then the Git status is going to tell that my files are basically not there.
ttl.sh, vanilla, brew, Ubuntu, and then let's do 2004. I think it was 20.04. Let's see if this can run it. Nice. Okay, we're publishing images. Now,
nice.
We're publishing to like a random registry that clearly doesn't need credentials, but I already actually have the credentials on our repo, so we can configure that here, and then we'll explain like what we configured on the repo. So the way that you authenticate against a registry is that on a container, you
You
call.
also you also need to
Yeah.
you also need to publish to the other tag, right? So shall we do the both tags?
Oh, the latest, you mean?
Yeah. So it's yeah.
Okay.
It's
So let
I
me
think it
do
was like
like
Ubuntu the first one, and then the other one was like
yeah.
a yeah. I
Yeah,
can't
let me
recall
do like
exactly.
C and then put this right here, tag, and then that, and then here we'll do
By the way,
like
my headphones are gonna die at any moment right
okay,
now, but
uh, and then we publish at latest. Sorry,
so it's
let me do
it's
here.
Ubuntu brew version, and then
Yeah, and then latest.
uh,
So for now, I'm actually like doing like the Ubuntu version itself. I'm not doing the brew version yet, but we'll do that. We'll do that a little bit later. And here
what's the
is
brew? Okay,
latest.
yeah, brew version comes from the tag. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna do that and save it. We're gonna run the Dagger call again. Dagger call, publish. There we go. I'm gonna remove that terminal. So the Ubuntu one shouldn't be published again. The only one that should be published is the latest, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, nice. Nice. I'm gonna do a Docker run, and then I'm gonna do latest. Oh. Already exists. Nice. Nice. Okay. So we have, we can either go with the like proper tagging, so the brew version, or we can do the registry auth. What do you want to do first?
What do you mean the proper tagging?
Like sending the brew version and talking a little bit about how you can parameterize that kind of stuff. Or I would do the secret so that we show that we can like authenticate again a
Yeah, let's do the
registry
secret.
and push an image. Nice.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so here, one of the things that are important to mention in case you're new to Dagger is that Dagger runs in an isolated container, meaning that it doesn't have direct access yet to the things that are running on the host. So if on the host, for example, you have an environment variable that's like GitHub personal access token and you use to communicate with the GitHub registry, Dagger, you're not going to have that available by default here. So here, if I do like a getem of like GitHub token, this is not going to work. So this is not going to be specified. The way that you usually specify credentials is by using a native type, which is called a secret, and then you just specify that secret to the registry itself, to the function call itself. So I'm going to add here a username, which is going to be a string, and then I'm going to add let's do like GitHub username, right? And then let's do GitHub token, and this is going to be a secret. Once we have that, let me actually go here and let me do chcr.io, and let's do the same thing here. There we go. And then what we need to do here is add the credentials to the underlying container that we have. So I'm going to call the with registry auth function. The address is going to be grci.io. The username is going to be what we received, so GitHub username, and the token is indeed a secret. So I'm going to do GitHub token. Okay. So with this, we should be able to specify those two parameters to the Dagger call itself, and then just go ahead and publish it. I'm going to go here. I'm going to quickly move to the intro so that I don't leak any credentials. So let me do that real quick. GitHub token. There we go. 1 second. Authorize. And okay. We are back. Now. There we go. Nice. Okay. So I have the GitHub token already set. So now I can do a Dagger call publish, and I can say that the username is going to be my own, and that the token is going to be an environment variable, which is GitHub token, right? So I'm going to send that command. The Dagger CLI is going to pick up that environment variable from my host, put it in a secret, and then send it to a Dagger context so that we can have everything obfuscated and no credential leaking.
Was it brew dash Ubuntu? I can't really recall the naming.
Their naming was different, but I went
Okay.
with Brew Ubuntu because their naming is like Homebrew Ubuntu, and since we're using our
Oh,
own
yeah.
org, I didn't want to. Yeah. Okay, nice. So now let's do a Docker run, and I'm gonna do gtr.io, vanilla brew Ubuntu, and then let's do latest. Oh, my bad.
Unauthorized. Okay.
Oh, unauthorized.
No, it's
okay.
unauthorized.
Okay, I'm not gonna do the Docker login because I will likely leak some stuff. So let's ignore it. And or I guess I can do like you have token pipe to Docker.
But wait, why? I guess we need
maybe.
to like.
Yeah. I'm doing a Docker run.
I guess we need to like make it public, right? We need to go ahead and make it public.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You can go to GitHub and then make it public if you want.
Yeah, I think if I go here and go
packages.
to packages somewhere, there we go. Brew Ubuntu private.
Yeah.
And where's the
package settings at the right? On the right?
At the right?
Very right. Package settings.
There's
a small wheel. Yeah, there.
Okay. Danger zone. Nice. Danger zone.
Yeah. So that should be it.
Type Brew Ubuntu. I can't change it. Setting is disabled via organization administrator. Okay.
I'm an administrator, probably that's why.
Let me
change it.
Registries.
But are you an admin? I guess you're a contributor. Maybe that's why.
I have no idea.
Let me just. I can make you an admin, but let me change this first. Package settings.
Oh, I think I can. Save.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, yes.
There you go. Now we go to packages. Now we go here. Package settings. Change visibility. Public. Brew Ubuntu. I understand the consequence. I don't
making mistakes.
Anyway. Docker run. Sweet. There we go. Nice. So should we finish up with something? I know that we were hoping to keep this under 40 minutes so that we don't still.
No, I guess it's fine for today. I mean, we went through the secrets and then publishing. I guess it's enough for today. And we don't have that many things to do, so maybe we can wrap it up the next one. And I have to leave like very soon.
Yeah. So let me leave this in the state that we would basically want it. So we would basically want is we have the base container. We would remove the with exec because we don't want that. We would instead add the registry authentication right here. This would be the GitHub container, right? So what we would do with this GitHub container is actually, let me do with registry out. This would be the basic container. Let me do right here. So we have the base container. And then what we would do is two separate, specific like publish. The thing is that on their YAML, they're publishing to Docker Hub and to GitHub. So we could do all of that on a single function by simply here, like adding, for example, Docker Hub username, right? Username string, and then Docker Hub path or token to be consistent, secret. Let me change that. And then here what we would do is we have the base container, and then we would do like base container, with registry auth, and then we would call the publish function. So let me publish this right here. Boom. There we go.
Maybe we can, maybe we can leave this function.
There we go.
I'm thinking, maybe we can leave this function to publish to a single place, and then we could send the
two separate Dagger calls.
No, basically we put like a single username, a single token, and then we have a function that is called publish all that calls this publish twice, one for each.
Okay, so you want to do like registry, username, and then token, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then here we do with registry auth, we call registry.
Yeah.
And then right here we do like registry plus, and then we delete that. Nice. Actually, we leave that. We do username. We do token, we publish here, we publish there, and that's it.
You need to remove Franera, put username. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just like replacing the variables.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And here, actually, what we need in addition is gonna be like the brew version. So like brew version, and then do that. But we'll do that. We'll do that next time.
And then we can have like a
up.
function that is called publish all and calls publish twice, right?
So I
One
can
for
do
each.
like publish all, right? This one needs to receive. It doesn't need to receive the registry because we know what that is. We do like hub username and then hub token. Sorry. And then
okay. So you're gonna hard code the registries. Okay, there. Okay.
Exactly, because we know what those are.
Yeah.
And then GH token, and it's a secret. And then here what we'll do is call m.publish with context, the source, hub username, and hub token. And we'll do the same thing.
You're missing the registry.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. There we go. And then we'll do, I think it's docker.io. And then we'll do ghcr.io.
ghcr.io.
There we go.
Yep.
Nice. And then to both functions, we want if error. Actually, we won't care about the, oh yeah, it's only an error. So we'll do that. Error different than nil. And then we will do return error. And here we can do just return. There we go. Nice.
Yes. We need to remove the. Do you want to remove the hard-coded like username and on the Franera, like line 15 and line.
Wait.
We have the registry. Yeah, on line 47 we have the registry plus, and then we need to remove the username there, right? Franera is the username, right?
Oh, not necessarily. This is a repository. So the username can be myself or you, like your username or my username. And then the...
Oh, that's for the, sorry, the with registry out. Okay, I see.
Yeah, exactly. So what I need here is to modify here as well. I knew that registry plus, and then remove this.
Okay, so we need to send the repository. Oh, well, maybe we could hard code the repository. Shall we put it on a... Yeah, that's fine. No worries.
Yeah, we could configure it, but given that this is like a contextual module for this project itself, it's going to always be the same value, right?
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Or maybe when we create, actually we can do that refactor when we create the other publish all for the tagging for the official one, I think it was. So the one that's going to be just brew, basically. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool. I think we're in a really good state, and then probably the next streaming we are going to be able to wrap it up because the pipeline is not very difficult, and I like where this is going. So yeah, that's great.
Git push.
One thing that we can do maybe the next pipeline, I guess we need to do the because we covered the publishing on the going back to the YAML file.
Yeah.
So we are publishing to Homebrew and Docker Hub, right? And then there's a third step, which is basically publishing the
that only happens for one specific one specific image. Yeah.
Exactly, which is publishing to a different Brew, right? That publishes to Brew.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it pushes. So also there's another registry because it pushes to GHCR and then it pushes. Oh, Brew is like the Docker.io. Okay. Never mind.
So it seems like for the next one we should be able to wrap this last one up, and then build the workflow, like build the actual GitHub Actions workflow, and show this working like on GitHub.
And if we have time, I would love to spend some time like improving the performance of the build because it's very poor today. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Nice.
I think that's good enough.
To the outro. There we go.
Okay, just to recap, so we started this streaming session by explaining a little bit how the include-exclude caching validation actually works. we finalized our testing function, and then we explained how you can start removing that YAML logic of like matrices and some conditions and put that into actual code, which is great. And then Matthias actually started showcasing how you can actually publish a container image into a registry. And then at the very end, we also explain how you can use secrets in your Dagger pipelines, and then how you can start like composing functions in a way that you can like basically generalize them, and then like basically create high-level order functions to call those other composable functions.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And hopefully next week we're gonna have like a fully working pipeline that we can publish to GitHub Actions and see how it performs.
Yeah, sounds good. Nice,
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us, and talk to you next Friday.
Talk to you next Friday. Thank you, Mati. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Take care. Bye bye. Y estamos offline.